Hi everyone, I'm David Scranton and thank you for watching today's video because today we're talking about all of the essential ingredients to create a successful retirement. And I'm here with Tim Sparks, founder and president of Sparks Financial Group, a retirement income store located in Kentucky. Tim, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, yeah, you work with a lot of people who are either retired or within that 10 or 15 years leading up to retirement, what I call the final approach before the landing. So you see a lot of mistakes, I'm sure, from people. And tell us a little bit about what some of those most common mistakes are that people attempt to make in their retirement planning.
Well, I think they read a lot today. I think the information is sometimes as helpful as it is hurtful. I find people, they're still stuck on the 4% cash flow rule. And the last 10, 12 years, things have been going very well. Why not just continue the ride with the markets, not understanding that there is a transition that needs to take place.
Yeah, and of course, the 4% cash flow rule is the old rule, assuming that, you can withdraw money. You could sell shares to withdraw money, and statistically, there's a high probability, 80 or 90% chance that you're not going to run out of money. Of course, when you play the income game, when you say instead of withdrawing money and selling shares, you're just going to take interest and dividends, that changes the game a lot, does it? I mean, it's in some ways, that's one of the most important things for people to understand when planning for retirement, is it not?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We do a talk show on the weekends, the radio, and a lot of people get it. And once they continue to hear it more and more, and they know down deep that they're not getting this type of advice, we're investing for income, because I call that the sure thing, or maybe more of a reliable income source that they're not getting with their current portfolio, or even the advice that from the advisors that and the recommendations.
So one thing you want to let people know is, okay, you need to live off the interest and dividends, the actual income, not using a withdrawal strategy such as the 4% rule. What else do people need to know as they get close to retirement, as they get in the final approach?
Well, they definitely don't want to spend their principal early on. As you say, the first 10, 15 years is the most critical, especially if they need their money for 30 years. So if they spend it too early, they don't even have an inflation hedge or, rising healthcare costs at the same time.
What's the sentiment out there from your perspective? Are people, starting to become worried because the volatility in the markets that we've seen over the last 2-3 months? Or people still lulled in a sense of complacency?
Yeah, I think they're just kind of frozen right now. They really don't know what to do. And so I'm sure they're probably looking for answers, and maybe if this, as you've noticed, the markets kind of came back a little bit, and maybe that's eased their conscience a little bit, but and maybe they've called their advisors and they've reassured them that this was just a mild hiccup.
So why is it? Why is it a lot of your competitors, what I'll call run-of-the-mill financial advisors, why is it that they don't understand how to handle a situation like this, and why they think that the 4% rule is still the way to go?
Well, they're still stuck in the rut of the 80s and the 90s when we had such a great bull market, and I guess I call it kind of more like being brainwashed with and addicted to one way. As a matter of fact, that's the reason they're using the cash flow rule, because they're trying to be clever. Just like a recent client I had coming in here recently, had a large portfolio, and they had a very, very well diversified. So that means they're going to probably do well in some parts of their ETFs that they had, and they're not going to do so well in the others. So it was very balanced. But at the end of the day, even the client knew that he was not getting true income, which was the concern of his, because he wants to retire comfortably.
So explain to our viewers, please, how investing for income can alleviate or at least help people's fears and worries at a time like this?
Well, recently I sent out a video to our clients. I said, we prepare people for times like these. You know, we're going to find times where we're going to either get corrections or maybe a correction that leads more into a recession. And how do you best prepare for that? Well, investing for income is the only way that I've seen that actually works.
So right now, as we sit here today, are you more optimistic about the economy and the markets over the next 2 years, let's say, or are you more pessimistic?
I'm a hybrid of both. You know, right now with the war going on, who knows how long this is going to last? I don't think. I think the markets are starting to come back slightly. Maybe it's because the rising of the interest rate from the Feds recently. But at the end of the day, if you want more mileage out of your money, I call it more mileage, then invest for income because you have less you have to spend in principal if you do so.
So you're kind of a hybrid right now in terms of optimism and pessimism. I get that. What's the biggest concern right now to the economies and the markets? Do you think it's the Fed making a misstep? Do you think it's the war in the Ukraine going on longer? You know, what's the biggest headline news that people need to be concerned about if they're not investing for income?
Well, to be honest with you, it's probably political more than it's anything. At least that's what I hear on my end. And I'm a very political driven city here where I'm at right now. That would be the first thing that people are more concerned about, let alone the war and let alone the inflation that's reared its ugly head since early last year. And it still is progressing today.
Yeah. Thank goodness there are some checks and balances in Congress, because had they spent an extra couple $1 trillion like they wanted to, that would be absolutely devastating right now for, for economy and debt and interest rates and everything else. So, okay, final thoughts. What's the best piece of advice that you can give for people who are within that 10, 15 years final approach into retirement that are part of the income generation?
Well, they need to find an income specialist. I mean, that's as plain as it gets, and understand what income specialist is, and don't confuse it with withdrawal specialists, because there's a lot more of those than there are income specialists out there. Because at the end of the day, when you're looking at income, and most people want reliable income, I look at it kind of like the foundation of a home. And there's only like 4 or 5 instruments out there can actually create that type of income: Social Security, pension, rental income, interest or dividends, or certain annuities. And a lot of times I find that most people only got 1 or 2 of those out of the 5.
Yeah. Tim Sparks, good advice as usual. We appreciate you having you here on the Income Generation. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching today's video, 8 essential ingredients to a successful retirement plan. If you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up button to give us a like, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for new content each and every week.